Hey guys, today, oh my god. Hey guys, so this is basically going to be the part 2 to the how to activate your glutes video. So if you guys haven't seen that, definitely check it out. It just goes over how to activate your glutes, some movements that really help with that, and how to just feel it in your glutes, because a lot of people say they do the movements but they don't feel it in their glutes. So I show you guys some exercises that helped me when I first started out on how to actually feel it in my glutes, and then you can apply that to the exercises I'm going to show you today. Now keep in mind that just because you do these exercises is not going to lead towards you looking like me. I just posted a physique update that you guys should check out so you can just hear me talk in the beginning about how like body idolization, body goals, and stuff like that can kind of get to an unhealthy point. So the first exercise is an exercise that I do constantly, and these are the Romanian deadlifts. Now, a lot of people will say these are mostly for your hamstrings, and I feel them in my hamstrings as well, but I actually do these more for the glutes. So the stiff leg deadlift is usually what many people will do to hit their hamstrings, and that's what I do. But for myself and someone who just has my glutes kind of take over every lower body exercise, this is a great one for me. Remember to keep your back completely flat. You don't want it to arch at all, and it's pretty much going to be parallel to the floor. You're going to push back with your butt and your hips until you feel a stretch in your glutes. You're going to feel it in your hamstrings first, but keep going down almost to your ankles until you feel it in your glutes. You're going to be bending your knees more than you would in a stiff or straight leg deadlift. So that is correct that you're bending your knees, and just remember hips back. And when you're coming up, squeeze your glutes as hard as you can at the very top. Do not stop in between because you'll be using your hamstrings a little more. So make sure you thrust forward at the very end and then just go ahead and do a couple more reps. So I tend to do about 3 sets of 8 to 12 with these. It depends on how much weight I'm using. I'll usually use a 20 or 25 pound dumbbell, but the weight is going to be up to you. It's going to depend on what you can do. Just try and use a weight that allows you to get at least 10 reps. This next exercise are going to be step-ups, and these look very, very simple, but they're actually a lot harder than you think they would be because you want to make sure that your form is perfect so you feel it in the right places. So you can do this with dumbbells by your side or barbell on your back, and for all these exercises you do need weights, so you can easily do the majority of these at home as long as you have a barbell or dumbbells or some sort of weight. You can use a gallon of water, you can use a gallon of milk, just something so you have a weight in your hand. When you step up, you're gonna step up with one foot and you're gonna put all of the pressure in that back heel. When you do these, you can put your other foot up as well. So you're gonna step up like you normally would. Do not push off the ground with that extra foot. You're gonna wanna push off your heel with whatever it is that you're standing on, bringing your body up using your glutes the entire time. You're gonna squeeze your glutes at the very top, and then that leg that's just hanging, you can lightly put it down so you can reset, and then step back down and do it again. You don't have to put your foot up on the bench that's not being used or whatever it is that you're standing on, but it can help with balance if you do have issues. This is the only exercise that can't be done at home, and these are the cable pull-throughs. These are one of my favorite exercises, and I love these because I just feel it so much in my glutes. So you can use whatever attachment works best for you, but I highly recommend using a rope attachment. So you're gonna wanna bring the rope down to probably the lowest placement on the cable machine, and you're gonna grab it between your hands and walk forward until you can stretch down and squeeze your glutes at the very top without falling over. So you're gonna kind of have to work with your setup to see how far away you need to be from the machine that you're using. So you hold the rope standing up straight, and your starting position, you're gonna bend over into what is kind of like a good morning, and you're going to feel your glutes pull apart again. It sounds so weird, but when you do the movement, you'll probably feel it, and the more you do it, the more you'll understand what I mean. But you're gonna feel your glutes pull apart, and then once you're in that position, you're going to thrust forward as hard as you can and squeeze your glutes at the very top. So it's kind of like a standing hip thrust. This next exercise takes a lot of balance as well. This is going to be like a stiff leg deadlift or straight leg deadlift, except you're just using one leg. So my balance sucks. So I always just push my hand on the wall of something and slowly go down. So your leg's gonna kick back kind of in a glute kickback motion, and your other leg is going to remain pretty straight with a slight bend in your knee, and you're gonna go down as far as you can until you feel the stretch in your hamstrings and in your glutes. And what makes this different than a hamstring-based exercise is when you are coming back up, you're gonna squeeze your glutes as hard as you can, and then you're gonna go back down. So in the normal deadlift, you would normally just keep all of that emphasis on your hamstrings and you wouldn't squeeze at the top. But for glute exercises, just remember, squeeze at the top. And for single leg exercises, I will usually do 2 to 3 sets on each side, and I'll kind of keep the rep ranges a little higher. So I'll usually do anywhere from 10 to 12 reps, and I'll usually use lighter weight as well, and just really focusing on that squeeze at the very top. This last exercise literally kills my glutes every single time. If I ever do train glutes and I only do one exercise, this is the one exercise that I will always do. People always use the hip thrust as their holy grail, and don't get me wrong, hip thrusts are great, but the split squat hits my glutes like no other. Like, it is actually amazing. This can be taken over by your quads very easily if you are more quad dominant. So make sure that you're really focusing on your glutes and pushing through your heels and not through your toes. So you can set this up in many different ways. You can actually just do this on the ground and kind of do more of the pulsing lunge and squeeze your glutes at the top. But it's a lot easier to feel it in your glutes if you do have your foot on something. So whether it's a bench, bed, chair, whatever it is, just make sure you're a nice distance so that you can go down almost with your knee touching to the ground and then squeezing your glutes at the very top. You can do this with a barbell on your back, or you can do this with dumbbells in your hand or holding it at your chest. Whatever is easier for you, whatever you have at your gym or at home will definitely work. And the motion of pushing is kind of gonna remind you of a sprint. Think of your glutes the entire time. Try and do some mental cues if you can. And if you guys still aren't feeling this in your glutes and you haven't seen that activation video, check that out because it may help out, it may not, but that is how I learned to activate my glutes. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. Helps a lot, and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And you guys can always share the video if you know anyone who it may help. But that's gonna be it for today's video. Be sure to follow me on my Instagram and Twitter at Lawenwoss, and my Snapchat, it's Lawenwoss, and I'll see you all in my next one. I love you. Bye.